This is lesson 4.5 and 4.6 for course 2, and I am Mrs. McCowan. Okay, at the top of lesson 4.5, you see customary measurements. For length, we have 12 inches equals a foot, 3 feet equals a yard, and 5,280 feet equal a mile. For weight, we have 16 ounces equals a pound, and 2,000 pounds equal a ton. For capacity, this is how much you can fill the volume of something. This would be 8 fluid ounces equals a cup, 2 cups equal a pint, 2 pints equal a quart, and 4 quarts equal a gallon. Some of you may have done Gallon Man when you were in elementary to help you remember that. So this is going to be our frame of reference we're going to look at for the top. Now, to change larger units to smaller units, we multiply, and to change smaller units to larger units, we divide. So for the first one, we have 3 pounds to how many ounces? Well, to go from pounds to ounces, we have to multiply because ounces are tiny and pounds are larger. So I have to multiply by 16. So we multiply by 16, 3 times 16 equals 48 ounces. Now to change smaller units to larger units, I have to divide. So 60 inches divided by 12, and I get the 12 over here in my handy dandy customary measurement chart. So 60 divided by 12 is 5 feet. Okay, now looking at the first one we have 12 quarts equal how many gallons? Well, quarts are smaller, gallons are larger. So how many quarts equal a gallon? Look up above. Looking at my chart, I can see that there are 4 quarts in a gallon. So I'm going to write 4 as my fact. So am I going to multiply or divide? Remember, when I go from a smaller unit to a larger unit, I divide. So I'm going to divide by 4. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. So how many gallons? 3. Excellent. Now on number 2, I have 9 yards, and I'm going to feet. So I'm going from a larger unit to a smaller unit. So I'm going to multiply. That's correct. So 1 yard equals how many feet? 3. So I'm going to multiply. 9 times 3. And what's 9 times 3? 27. That is correct. So there are 27 feet in 9 yards. Okay, I'd like you to pause the video and do number 3 and number 3, 4, 5, and 6 on your own. Okay, we should have found our answer for number 3. And the answer for number 3 was larger unit to smaller unit, so it should have been 112 ounces. Number 4, we had smaller unit to larger unit, and it was 6 cups. Number 5 was 96 inches, and number 6 was 2 tons. At the bottom of your paper, give yourself a rating. Would you say you are a 4? I can teach this to my classmates. I am a 3. I understand and can solve customary measurement. A 2. I need the teacher's help to solve customary measurements. 1. I don't know what customary measurements are. Okay, now I'd like you to turn your paper over. Okay, on the back of your paper, we are looking at metric measurements. So for metric, we have the same. We have length, which is a measure, mass, which is a measure of weight, and capacity, which is a measure of volume. So to change larger units to smaller units, we have to multiply. Excellent, we're doing that again. And to change smaller units to larger units, we have to divide. So they had an example here. Liters are large, milliliters are small. So we had to multiply times 1,000. Centimeters are small, meters are large, so we had to divide by 100. I'd like you to write this at the top of your paper. If you haven't learned this, this may be new information. So an easy way for Mrs. McCowan to remember the units of measure for metric, I have a little number line that I use. So on my number line, I write down all the units of measure, and it helps me remember it. It goes like this: kilo, hecta, deci, unit, deca, centa, milla. This is deca, this is deca, centa, milla. So these are the smaller units on the right, the larger units on the left. So when I go from one side to the other, it helps me remember. And there's a little chant that I sing with it. Kelly hit Dan until Dan couldn't move. That helps me remember the letters at the beginning of the metric measurements. So whenever I'm moving, if I'm moving to smaller, I am multiplying. And whenever I'm moving to larger, I am dividing. So I keep this number line at all times in my view so that I know which way I'm moving on my number line. Okay, let's look at number 1. We're going to convert each measure. So we have 15 centimeters to millimeters. So when I convert centimeters to millimeters, I have to do what? Centimilla. If these are smaller, I have to multiply. So I'm going to multiply by 10. So by multiplying by 10, 15 times 10 is 150. That is correct. On number 2, now I'm going from grams, which is a unit measure, to kilograms. So I'm moving 1 to deca, 2 to hecta, and another 1 to kilo. So I'm moving 1, 2, 3 times. So I'm moving 1,000 grams. Because I have 3 zeros, I'm moving 3 times. Now I'm going to do what? Divide, because I'm moving to the right, so I'm dividing. So 964 divided by 1,000 is 0.964. That is correct. Okay, I'd like you to do numbers 3, 4, and 5 on your own. Please pause the video. Okay, we should have found our answers for 3, 4, 5, and 6. So for the first one, we had to multiply by 1,000, and we came up with 4,900. For the second one, you should have divided. So dividing by 100, we get 35.31. For the fifth one, we should have the answer 0.468. And for the last one, you should have 690. Excellent job. If you have questions, please ask Mrs. McCown at the end of class. At the bottom, give yourself a rating. Are you a 4? I could teach this to a friend. 1, I can do metric on my own. 2, I need my teacher's help to do metric measurement. Or 1, I have no idea what a metric measurement is. Thank you.